James Brosnan said, I won't say it. We got music.
Hey, everybody. Ask Junior, presented by Nationwide. Cranking up again on YouTube.
What's up?
At Dirty Moo Media. Thanks for tuning in. Leah, they got some great questions pouring in.
Yeah, we have a lot of questions. Obviously, revolving around the fight topic.
Yep.
That's kind of going on. So Mandy wrote in. She wants to know, I don't ever recall seeing you in a post-race fight. Did it ever happen? If so, when, where, and who?
I don't know. Do you remember?
Mike's laughing.
Why are you laughing, Mike?
I was going to make a joke because he got his ass kicked every time, but that's not true. He actually didn't fight. I was just joking. I was going to joke.
Is that a joke? That's not a joke.
It was kind
That's
of
a real asshole thing to say.
You would never get in a fight. You never got in a fight. I remember some dust ups. I remember some markings. Chirpings. You and Denny did one time.
Yeah. Did we?
Yeah, after the shootout. Yeah, you wrecked him. That happens.
I wrecked Denny?
Yeah. Don't you remember?
No.
Yeah.
You always forget when you wreck people, but you never forget when you get wrecked.
Oh man. Yeah, I really I'm thinking back street stock days, late model days. I never gotten a punching match with anybody.
But didn't you have like the cops or something coming after you after a late model race? What is that story?
Was
that a fight?
Yeah, but no, it wasn't a fight. That was at Hickory, and we were running a late model race, and they said, this is a long conversation. It's a long, long story, but it wasn't a
Cliff
fight.
Notes version.
It wasn't a fight. We just sort of got in a little trouble.
You ought to leave it at that so we can.
We need to use that. We'll tell that story another day when we got a little more time. But yeah, I haven't ever been in a physical altercation that I can remember. And yeah,
at the racetrack,
right?
Yeah, I mean, you're racing in Darlington.
Oh man,
man, would that not be perfect?
Awesome.
Dale Jr. goes out.
That would not be awesome.
It's a technicality yet.
No, I'm going. I don't.
Still racing.
You know what? I think about when I get out on the racetrack and I get out of the car and I'm pissed off. I'm thinking about what would I do that would piss off or embarrass my mother. And if it's on that list, I'm not doing it. So. And especially, it could be the very last race I ever run. I'm not going to end my entire career. I'm going to bookend my career with a damn fight on pit road.
No, I'm pulling for it.
All right, one more fight-related question before we move on. What's the best fight between drivers that the fans never got to see or hear about?
I mean, obviously, I think when Stewart went into the hauler and supposedly might have punched Kurt Busch at Daytona. They had a little dust up in practice, I believe.
I remember that.
And so that's the question. I think what has happened in that hauler that we don't know about, we'll never know about. We even tried to push Stewart to tell us a little bit about what happened that particular time in the hauler at Daytona with Kurt Busch, and he wouldn't go into detail about it. He did say that there was some physical contact. That he might have punched Kurt, and so those things I get. Oh shit! I just remembered I was in a fight.
In the hauler.
In the hauler.
Yeah, we've talked about that one.
Tony?
Right?
Yeah.
No, with Tony's crew chief.
Yeah.
Okay,
Zippy.
But did y'all swing?
It was not
It wasn't
Zippy.
Zippy. It was way before Zippy.
No.
It was before Zippy?
Yeah.
Don't drag Zippy into this. Zippy's gonna be coming. Hey, what fight were we in?
But it's coming.
There was
bud.
I don't even know. I don't remember this guy's name. He was Tony's crew chief when he's in his first season in Xfinity, and
okay.
It was I don't even think I punched the guy, but we were wrestling and shirts got ripped off shirts, and it was pretty. That's as close as I ever came to being in a
So
fight.
you threw a punch, but it was more like Spencer Gallagher, John West Townley, is what you're saying. That ended up being sort of
a little bit
that.
like that. Yeah. It was a little bit like that in the hallway of the NASCAR hauler. It's what happens. So you would think that when you would think, hey man, the hauler's like the principal's office.
Right.
When you go in there, you sit your ass down and you don't say a word. But it's weird. Like when you go in there, and the other driver or whoever else you're having this confrontation with comes in there, it's like, oh, I can beat his ass or I can do whatever I want. Nobody can see it. Nobody can stop it but the officials that might be in there. And you feel I don't know. It's more likely to be a fight in that space than it would be either on pit road, on the racetrack, in the garage. For some reason, when you go in that holler, you just feel like you can unleash. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, well, I would expect you to feel that way. That would be cool. That's what those doors are. They don't let people in there for any other reason.
Yeah.
So you can air out your differences.
Yeah.
Right?
And sometimes you just come unglued. You stay glued until you get into the holler. Then you get in the holler and you come unglued. It seems like it'd be the other way around, right? But it's not. You go in there and you're like, oh, I'm going to do it now. You know, here it comes.
There you go.
I wish I had seen Bliss get the black eye from Gordon that supposedly happened at the airport.
Okay, yeah.
There's
another one we don't know the whole story.
Interesting.
Been a lot of those, I bet.
Keith Aikenson writes in, and he said, the All-Star qualifying race was fantastic and a blast to watch. What do you think if NASCAR did that every week? 20 laps, where you finish is where you start. Do it in 2 groups.
I don't know. Like every week at Pocono or Dover or Sonoma, like 20-lap segments. Boom, boom, boom. Hammer it out. I don't know. I don't think I'm pretty good with the All-Star race being. See, the great thing about the All-Star race, and we read it in our odd history from last week, when they're trying to come up with these rules, even back in the 80s for the All-Star race, they said, hey, this race needs to be different than anything else. It needs to have components and a unique format and profile that no other race has. And so I think if you take this template and apply it to every other race, then the All-Star race loses its uniqueness and the equity that you have built up in it. So I think you got to leave that kind of stuff where it belongs, and that's an All-Star race.
Dale Hall wants to know, if you could start a 4-car Cup team using past or present drivers, who would you pick?
4-car Cup team with past or present drivers. You definitely have to have Dale Earnhardt in there. I'd probably want to put Kel Yarborough on my team. David Pearson would probably be on my team as well. And I think the 4th driver, boy, I'm going to probably make this decision and then change it every 5 minutes for the rest of the day. But, I mean, it'd be like Jeff Gordon. Probably have Jeff in there, Jimmy. I mean, there's a lot of guys, but the top 3 for me would be Dad, Yarborough, Pearson, and then probably Gordon would be the 4th. Is that?
Yeah.
Am I breaking any rules there?
Oh, there ain't no rules.
Because that's
no rules. It's you.
It's your show. You can do what you want. Dale Burke wants to know, what's the most surprising thing about Isla that you didn't expect?
I guess the most surprising thing about being a dad or Isla that I didn't expect was the worry, the constant worry. So I already have like real bad anxiety, and I've sort of always dealt with, being super shy and really nervous, going into a lot of situations. So I already have this heavy sort of layer of anxiety all the time, and then you got this little girl that. Like yesterday, all right, we go to a brewery and Amy's having a glass of champagne, and I'm sitting there watching Isla, and at this brewery, there's the patio is gravel, and Isla's trying to eat the rocks, and so I'm sitting there thinking, God, man, every 5 seconds I've got to watch her, and she's trying to eat the rocks, and you tell her no, and she don't know. She's trying to eat more rocks, and so I spent 2 hours freaking out about like her eating or swallowing a rock, and I'm I'm googling on my phone like, what if baby eats rock? And,
what did it say?
Oh man, it's like
911.
No, it's like you stay after them. You got like what I was doing was what I should be doing, and that's basically following her everywhere she goes. And as long as she'd let me hold her, I would. And then when she wants to get down and walk around a little bit, you got to let her do that. And then when she tries to eat a rock, you got to be there to stop her. And so, I didn't drink any beer or or anything, and just sit there and tried to keep Isla from swallowing a rock for 2.5 hours. And I did not. So the most surprising thing about being a dad or Isla is the added worry of her being safe all freaking day. And I didn't know. Everybody tells you all kinds of advice about, oh man, this is how you got to get them on the nap schedule. You got to get them on a food schedule. You got to do this and that and the other, and buy these, buy this trash can. Everybody's got all kinds of advice. Nobody ever says you're gonna worry to freaking death.
Mm-hmm.
Now, nobody ever tells you about the worry. Nobody ever tells you that you're going to be paranoid 90% of the time.
Did you ever go on like a spring break trip with your buddies in high school or anything like that?
Nope.
Did you, Matthew?
Spring break?
Yeah.
No. I'm a dork. I went to races.
Can you imagine sending your kid on?
No.
Now, like you think about worry.
I don't even. I can't imagine. I can't even. It doesn't give me any anxiety even thinking about that because I can't even comprehend.
No, I'm with you.
How that would be. We were talking about driving, learning how to drive and stuff like that, and I can't imagine her pulling out of the driveway for the first time. You got a car, you got a license, you're free to go. Just be home by X. Ugh. I can't. I know that I'm not going to be able to do anything that I want to do because I'm going to be sitting there worried about what she's doing.
Yeah. And
you damn right I'm going to have some GPS on that car.
Yeah.
Yeah. That part is the most surprising part. Nobody ever. So to all the new parents out there, everybody who's expecting, your ass is getting ready to have a huge dose of anxiety that does not go away no matter what. It is there all day, all night. It's just ridiculous. So I was already a worrywart, and now it is off the charts.
Laura Chris wants to know, what renovation are you and Amy going to take on next?
No,
Any
we're
projects
not. No, we're not. Nope, we're not doing that. That was a one-time deal. We had this renovation that we did in Key West of this house. I had bought that house like years before, didn't know what to do with it. We finally got a deal to do a TV show that would help cover some of the cost of the renovation. We sold the house. A lot of people didn't know that we sold that house, but we did. And that was just something to do that was different. I wanted to put me and Amy somewhere you wouldn't expect to see us, experiencing something that maybe you wouldn't expect us to experience. And so I thought it was a great way to showcase mine and Amy's relationship and learn something. It helped our relationship. Us doing that renovation together tested our patience and our ability to work together. So it was a great experience. But we're never going to probably do anything like that again. I say you never say never, but it's nothing we're actively seeking out. It was fun, but yeah, that's it.
All right, guys. I think that's all we have time for today.
Appreciate everybody for tuning in to Ask Junior, presented by Nationwide. Remember to follow all of our social media handles at Dirty Mo Media, our YouTube channel, Twitter, Instagram. Don't forget to watch the show on NBCSN Tuesday at 5 p.m. And hope you enjoy the rest of the podcast when Matthew has that out later today.